Hi, welcome to Reach Tip of the Day. Today's topic is the syringe nut assembly. So that's the part of the syringe where the tip goes into, just this small portion here. You have different styles of syringe. You have the ADAC, that's one brand that has the external, and then you have the internal nut assembly, which is the Dci Syringe. So we're going to be going over on this video what we call the operator syringe nut assembly, where the tip is free spinning, okay? There's another one that you can lock, and that's an assistant nut assembly, and we'll cover that in a different video. In this video, so you have your operator's nut assembly, and again, it's nice and smooth compared to this one, which is knurled. This is the locking one. We'll cover in another video. But if you have the nice and smooth one, it's very easy to operate. You just push the syringe tip in and you pull out. No loosening or tightening. The only part of that is it's free spinning. So if you want to retract with it, this is not the nut assembly you want. You want the assistance locking nut assembly. So on this one, we covered the usage, but what can go wrong is when you're using it and you're trying to blow dry, just dry air, and you're constantly getting a little bit of water, what happens is when you insert your tip into the syringe, the tip is going through this little black O-ring in the base here, and that's sealing the water away from the air. And that O-ring gets worn out. It can be because a syringe tip ripped it, or it can just be old and has shrunk up and not sealing well. So that's very easy to replace. As you saw me take this off, you use a little Allen wrench. It goes on the end and you unscrew it. Remember that all this metal is brass. It's chrome covered or something like that, but it's all brass. It's a very soft metal and it can be damaged easily. So you don't want to forcibly tighten anything, just snug everything up. So anyway, on that O-ring, you take the O-ring out, you lubricate a new one, you put it inside, making sure it's the correct size, and these two parts come apart. A lot of times they'll fall on the floor and you have to find it, but these come apart. It's easy, they just set right inside like that. With the new O-ring, you thread this on, you use a wrench, and just snug it up. Again, you can break off the threads if you try to tighten up too much. Just make sure it's nice and snug, test it out, you put a syringe tip in and out, moves freely, and then then it's ready to go. Okay? Again, free spinning. Another syringe is a Dci syringe, has an internal nut assembly. Okay, this one here, you just push in on the ring, insert the tip. Again, it's free spinning. Okay, so you can't really retract. It's a little bit more resistance than the ADAC one, but still you can't really retract. If you want a retractable syringe tip where it's rigid and stays in place, you can order special tips from DCI that will work with this. So when you do insert it, it will lock into place also, and it'll stay secure so you can retract with the tip. And as with the same small O-ring in here, there's a small O-ring inside this one, the same thing. You just put a wrench in the end, you loosen this up, you pull out these components, and the O-ring is inside. Well, to put this back in, you want to make sure you line up this little groove where there's a pin internally. That lines everything up. Make sure it's set in there. Put the wrench in, tighten it up. Again, just a little bit snug, and you're all set. Those are the two nut assemblies for free spinning tips, usually used on an operator, doctor, or hygienist.